That down, let's move on to this. Time for another installment of what we call the rumor mill.
I love rumors.
Everybody, the rumors are running wild. The rumor mill is a little segment we do where it's not exactly verified information, but it's a rumor that's going around and some of the notable outlets are running with it, so we at least talk about it. And we always have two questions with these rumor mills. Is it even true? And theoretically, if it is, would we like it? The topic of today's rumor mill is my boy, Henry Cavill, the greatest Superman of all time. Yes, I said it. I love this guy. The guy who was runner-up to be James Bond, only behind lost it out to Daniel Craig. I think there's nothing this guy can't do. I love this guy. Anyway, there have been a lot of talk that ever since he unfortunately had to depart DC as Superman, a lot of talk, a lot of people, my fellow Henry Cavillians, saying he should go to the MCU. He should go over to Marvel. A lot of people got a little bit too on the nose, saying things like he should be Captain Britain. Like, yeah, this is a little too on the nose, but there could be a role for him, right? Well, there's a rumor going around, and outlets like Superhero Hype, an outlet I like very much, by the way, is carrying it with a new rumor that Henry Cavill is being eyed for the Nova series coming to Disney Plus.
That's all the info I need. He's doing it.
He's done. It's done. It's official. They wrote this: Henry Cavill might be one of the top choices to star in Marvel Studios' Nova series, but not as Richard Rider, as per a new rumor. By the way, the rumor doesn't say it wouldn't be Richard Rider. They just don't specify that it would be Richard Rider. Marvel's head of streaming, television, and animation, Brad Winderbaum, whose profile is growing every single month, confirmed in 2024 that the Nova series is in development with Richard Rider as the main protagonist. However, there is still time until fans get to watch the show. All right. First thing that needs to be noted is that Superhero Hype is not the source of this rumor. Mm-hmm. As many of these rumors that hardly ever work out, it is from one of those self-professed Twitter scoopers is where it comes from. That sometimes have gotten it right.
Could be.
Oftentimes have not. A lot of times it's just throwing spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. But this is one that I thought was worth discussing. All right. First of all, let's talk for a second about the validity of this. Do I believe that Henry Cavill, there's a strong chance that he may actually star in the Nova series coming out from Marvel? I do not. I don't believe that. I would love it. I would. And is it possible? Of course it's possible. We just talked the other day about the fact that Marvel talks to hundreds of actors all the time about exploring possibilities, stuff like that. Maybe 1% of them work out to be something. Do I have any doubt that at some point Kevin Feige and Henry Cavill have probably had conversations? I wouldn't doubt that at all. But Henry's dance card is actually getting kind of full. Mm-hmm. Besides his Warhammer thing, that is his passion project, he's also got an entire new franchise of Highlander coming and one or two other projects that they've talked about as well. So is it possible this could happen? I'm not saying it's impossible. It is possible. I'm saying, do I currently, as a fan on the outside looking in, believe it? I do not. Now, that's the one question. The second question now, if theoretically it were turn out to be true, would I like this? Hell yes, I would love this. Now, I don't think you can just drop Henry Cavill in any role. Again, I think stuff like Captain Britain, maybe even Sentry, who they obviously got somebody else. But I think there are characters that would just be a little bit too on the nose, that you're just doing it for the gimmick of the guy who played Superman is now kind of playing a Superman-like character in the MCU. I think they should avoid that. But I think Henry Cavill is an insanely good talent. I always think adding talent is always a good thing. It's not like there's some novelty of, oh, a guy who was in DC is now in Marvel. It happens all the time now, so it's not that big of a deal. So adding him into this thing, instant credibility for this series. A series that, by the way, not a lot of normies will even recognize or know anything about. Add Henry Cavill's name to it, well, now you got my attention, right? We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Indeed. Okay, so you just realized your business needed to hire somebody like yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for the right candidates so you can reach the best talent faster. And it works. Indeed's data shows that sponsored jobs get 45% more application than non-sponsored jobs. The thing I'm impressed most with Indeed is how fast it makes hiring. When I was looking to hire somebody for the John Campea Show, the process felt slow and overwhelming. I hate it. I wish I had used Indeed. And you want to know how fast Indeed is? In just the minute that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed worldwide. So don't wait. Speed up your hiring now with Indeed. And for listeners of this show, you get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Campea. Just go to Indeed.com/Campea and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed here. That's Indeed.com/Campea. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. So, Chris, let's go over to you on this. There are two questions that emerge. One, how do you see the validity of this report? Two, for conversation's sake, if it were true, do you like the move? Too gimmicky because he was Superman once? How do you see it?
I don't think it's gimmicky at all. We see people crossing over all the time. And also, look at Henry Cavill.
He was built to be in a superhero
that's
movie.
a superhero. That's what you're doing. Well, and the validity of this too, I feel like he's definitely in talks to have a role. I just don't think it's this role. I feel like with Nova, whether you're going with Richard or Sam, I think you're going to go with a younger actor. Now, Henry Cavill by no means is, like some old dude who's about to be put out to pasture, but I do think you're going to go with somebody a little greener, a little younger, just so you have some longevity for that character and that career. So I feel like if they're going to put him in the mix, it's going to be somebody different. And I think, well, his star power could lend itself to a slightly unknown thing like Nova in a really great way. I feel like he's better utilized somewhere else. I don't think this is the one.
Rob, chances on the validity? And if it were true, would you like it?
The validity, I don't really buy it. It seems like one of those fan casting things, but I'm with Chris on this one. Look, would I love to see him play Nova? Yes, either character.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him play Scott Summers too and lead the X-Men.
Yeah,
but
he might be a little
that's what I'm
old
saying.
for
He's
that.
a little
Yeah.
old. But if he could still do it, depending on how I think this idea of making the X-Men younger is kind of a weird idea because when I was younger, I always thought they were a little older. I always thought the X-Men were in their 30s.
Sure.
That's kind of what I never thought. Look, I love James Marsden as Cyclops.
They just misused him.
He was a perfect Scott Summers. But in terms of this, I think that look, Captain Britain's too on the nose, but I don't think anybody would complain if he did play Captain Britain.
I agree. I wouldn't
His sister's
complain.
Betsy,
Yeah.
so she's Psylocke, so that's cool too. But I mean, I don't think it's true. Would I like to see that happen? Yes, because I think because of his Warhammer love, and I think that particular character in that armor is something he would just relish playing. So it would be fun to see him in that role. I just don't think it's
Let me
true.
throw a curveball out there. What about, we think of Henry Cavill, he's a Superman. If he comes into the MCU, he's got to play a hero. What if he didn't play a hero? I'm going to throw a name out there. Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister,
Oh, he'd be great.
as Henry Cavill as Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, he'd nail it.
Okay,
He'd nail
that's
it.
the greatest. That's a great
Yeah.
idea. He's my favorite X-Man villain. Bring him on. He would look awesome.
And I would love to see like flashbacks where he's like in Victorian times or whatever.
Oh yeah. Or he could lead the Hellfire Club.
You know what?
Well, like, it would be
Connected,
quick, but yes.
Yeah.
connected to the Netflix Enola Holmes series.
Oh, there we go.
Say he would take his character from that and just say he became Nathaniel Essex.
Give him a little bit
Sherlock
of a
Holmes is
Sherlock Holmes
actually
became
Nathaniel.
Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
He could be great as Nathaniel Essex. Oh my God, I love that. I love that idea better than him playing in the Nova Corps.
Yeah.
Wow, make him with a great British accent. Oh,
And listen,
a
to
great idea.
quote,
I'd buy that
why
toy.
why am I forgetting the name of the guy from? Oh my God, why am I forgetting the name of the guy from Attack the Block and Star Wars?
John Boyega.
John Boyega. Yeah, why was I freezing on John Boyega? To quote John Boyega, "You ain't gonna Disney Plus me." Is maybe a Henry Cavill too big of a name to drop into a series that's a Disney Plus series as opposed to a feature film thing. I mean, that's something you got to take into
I
consideration.
feel like
right?
his name is so. It's like Jenna Ortega. Everyone throws her name around like, oh,
Yeah.
they're in talks with Jenna Ortega to be this. They're in
Yeah.
talks with Jenna Ortega to do that. Same with Cavill. You know, you got to be. It's like two of those names. You just got to be careful with.
You know, he's never actually. I mean, even Zach, as much as you and I love Man of Steel, I don't feel that he was done. The Superman character was not. He did not get enough to do in those movies. He needed to be able to be the debonair Clark, and he needed to go like to, you know.
You needed Superman 2 or Man of Steel 2 or
really
3
did.
to be able to get him to that
And
point.
every time we've seen him, I loved him in Man from U.N.C.L.E. He was great.
He's so
He
good
was
in that.
so good
And
in
he's
that.
so good in that. And Henry Cavill deserves to have his. He needs the role that's going to define him, that makes him $500 million or $1 billion.
Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod.
I mean, that could do it. And Highlander is that role. Highlander is
Could
that
be,
role.
if it's
could
done
be that
right.
role. But he deserves. I mean, seeing him as Nathaniel Essex as the villain. I mean, come on.
And honestly, one of the greatest cinematic moments of the past 15 years is the arm gun cocking.
I know,
in
right?
Mission Impossible. One of the greatest moments
Well,
like
and
ever.
talk about showing how he can do a heel turn.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he was an awesome villain in Mission Impossible. Make him, you know what? Cavill is Nathaniel Essex, my favorite thing I've heard.
Make it happen. All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? In the rumor mill that's going around is that Henry Cavill may star in the Nova series. Number one, do you believe in the validity of that? Number two, assume it's true for a second. Would you like it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.